Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Liana from class 6B English Literature, 4031800064, and sport letter Mr. Bahren Nurdin. Title is The Glass Magician, The Purple Magician 2. Author the Charlie and Holmberg. Publisher Amazon Publishing. Genre Historical Fantasy, Gaslam Fantasy, Sword and Circle Fantasy. Year of publication 2014. Introduction. The Glass Magician picked up shortly after events of the first book, and we once again follow Sione Twill through her adventures with Emory Ten. The paper magician Sione, feeling 14, had blossomed into a love that eventually confessed herself to be one-sided. Her feelings 14 become her mind's perception, and the lovesick internal monologue grow a bit tedious. The only thing that distracts Sione from her pinning are the very imminent death threat and attacks on her life. It was a bad story. I was entertained and interested in the slight expansion of the magical world of Humber invention. I just felt disappointed in Sione development as a character, and then there was the sudden switch in perspective at the end of the story. We were suddenly reading Ten's internal monologue and his action. I feel like this is a fine thing to do if a consistent narrative device used through the story. Switching back and forth between character perspective, but to just have one chapter that switch over makes me feel like there are problems with the overall story structure. If 10 chapter had been made into an epilogue, then I would have feel differently, because the epilogue can be outside of the story main perspective, but then didn't happen here. Now, character in the novel is main character is Sione. Sione Tool is the main character of the novel The Glass Magician by Charlie and Holmberg. Sione is a 19-year-old red-haired young woman and graduate student of the Tegus School for the Magically Inclined. Irreducibly talented, a beautiful Sione is able to learn that her dream of smelting magic with melting will not come true, as she has been assigned to appreciate with Emory Ten in folding magic with paper. Upon meeting Ten, she is smitten with his kindness and his talent, and ultimately begin developing romantic feeling for him as she trains alongside him. When Ten goes away for 6 days, she feels lonely with him. Sione sat in the living room to finish her cake with her parents, while Marshall and Margot play with their new spell in their room. Zina had headed to Parliament Square for a date. Busy, the Jack Ruler's interior. Zina had headed to Parliament Square for a date. Busy, the Jack Ruler's terrier Sione had been forced to leave behind, even accepting her appreciated Charlotte of Leslie at Sione. Pitts lifting her cavalry now, then the bags for a crumb. "Well, Sione," mother said after the second piece of cake, It does sound like this. Going well for you, magician. Dan seems like a very nice teacher." "He is," Sione said, hopping the floor like the masked, the blues creeping up her cheeks. She set her plate on the floor for Busy to lick. "He is very nice." From page 4. Cutting out the salt was a slow process, and Mary had warned her that one wrong cut would ruin ruined the spell, and she didn't want to start over again. Sonny had managed to cut out the left foot and after the leg knee before Emery appeared in the doorway, his indigo coat sweeping about his shoulder. Sonny carefully pulled back the accessories before giving him her attention. Emery's eyes sparkled with amusement. Had she done something funny? I'm determined that I will teach you to shade that scar for the day first lesson. Every announced Sonny dropped her shoulders. I knew you are retreating. I stood now. The purple magician replied, tapping his index finger against the side of his head. Unless you can tell me how I did it. A location spelled the stone. He smiled. Absurd calm, he motioned with a hand. Sioni shut his eyes for a moment. Too many memories think that she uses the silk dance exploding up the sword, the giving hole in Mary church as her house to the floor. This heart cutting in Lyra hands, the first of the body versus wall, and Mary her pressing against and her only set the side of her disparate curve went across the floor of a wearable stern home that caused them down burying depth within her mind, and Delilah just called her calm. Be calm, she fled to her help. And alright, she said colorfully, you want to know how I felt, Lyra? Great, isn't it, for understand waiting Sonny drew another deep. It started with his razor brush. The napkin began to read papers. Great, look at confused. His eyes widening in one movement. Sonny twice that her chair away from the expression for Adelaide from the table, bolting from the back door. To Zina is Sion's younger sister by 2.5 years. Excellent from the other end of the table, she tapped her foot on the ground and blew a short lock of the dark hymn for her face. The family applause with Zina rushed through the one electric bulb that hung from the kitchen ceiling. It flickered before popping, sending a downpour of glass and darkness into the first. Finally, Zadie says thank you. Sonny said, and her mother absolutely sliced a triangle of birthday cake and handed to it her. I really appreciate this. From the burst, Sonny folded a folded piece of violet paper, peeling the slight familiar tingling of the beneath her fingers. Marcel looked at the present and against the wall made the last few folds that formed the bed's wing and her ears carefully to light the of the paper to magic will take. Then holding the bed bell in her hand, command the paper bad-handed and published itself. You pen a palm with the help of the paper hook is in the swing. Amazing! Marcel exclaimed, saying the bed before a cold away. Gravely with it. Sonny called as a rushed toward to be hallway in the room. Zina and Margot started racing into the carpet along and pointed the one and see the hidden two out simple bookmark along a pointed hand to Zina, her sister Crooked Brown. What is this? Next, Margot, the young sister at age 11. Nudged Sonny in the deep, make a wish. There's a deep rebelling clinging to the great memory of the flower hill and sunset. Sonny bent over, blew orthodox candles, grateful not to let her brain catch fire. 19 went out, casting the kitchen into near darkness. Sonny quickly having ignited the 20 candle, frying it would not count against sister. Sonny nodded. She took a bit of a cake before setting the plate down and returning into the tiny living room, where her first hug from the set hung to the wall. Marcel probably with Margot and his Margot clasped her hand under the chin. And me? Sonny smiled and rubbed Margot orange hair and color that matched him out. From the 6 spotted of the 6 bullet small pepper tulip, green pepper, composed its seam, and the red yellow pepper formed its 6 petals. which it overlapped and the edges alternate in color. Mango is smooth, permanent, a perfect oceanic hidden flower. See it in your window in the morning, it will bloom just like a rosy flower. Sunny said, but not don't weather it. Mango that is later Margot it followed with Marcel. In fact, the bedroom cradle to tool is tulip, so it had been incredible a place. Next is Marcel complaining 13-year-old Sione only brother. She had his hand slide around the table, searching for matches or prepare for sneaking an early text of cake. What's your step? Miss verb sneaking and it really takes of cake. What's your step? Sione mother cried. I will God, Sione father said. Stepping toward the scrambled shadow, a few moments later he lighted a candle. The pins around in the for Mr. Bomb. They really are handy, and when they work, did you make me something? What Marcel asked. He in his pocket is optioning errors up front. You promised you would later ago, remember? Sione nodded. She took a bit of a cake before setting the plate down right into the tiny living room where her first hung from a trusted hook up on the wall. Marcel followed exactly where Margot herself. Next, a mother, we can was a practical of you, no matter how old you get. Her mother said, almost clinic, especially from a magician apprentice. She beamed. Well, Sione's mother said after his second piece of cake, it does sound like it's going well for you. Magician then seems like very nice teacher. He is. Sione said, hopping the prolonged making the blues creeping up her cheeks, said that her plate of the pizza her appearance. Next, character relationship. Zina is Sione's younger sister. Margot, the younger sister at age 11. Marcel, complimented 13-year-old Marcel. Sione, mother of Sione. Delilah, Perget Senior, Emery 10, personal love Sione, panel, paper dog Sione. Summer reasonable. 3 months after returning magician Emery 10 here to his body, Sione too is well her way to become a folder. Unfortunately, not all Sione tongue have been focused on paper, though she was promised romance by 40 books. Sione still has broken the teachers to them barrier with Emery. Disputed the growing closeness when a magician with penchant for weapons believed that Sione possessed a secret. He falsely discovered it. Even they stays apart the very fabric of their magical world. After the series of attacks target Sione and catch those to hold most there in the crossfire and conspire, Sione knows she must find the true limit of her powers and keep her knowledge from falling into wayward hands. So you see, in many respects, this book was worse than The Paper Magician, but being tired and exhausted and unable to think very hard at the moment, I decided to switch up the critical part of my brain and focus on the plot and direction. And is this one thing where the series improved? I can't say I like any of the character much, with the exception of the paper dog panel, maybe the Prenny or die. And at this point, I was excited to jump into the last installment of the triangle, but their short book and still hope for some improved spoiler. I should have stopped it after this one. And last conclusion, Sione is well into her apprentice, and Charlie Humbert doesn't have to watch anything explaining her magic system again, so it's staying into the action with this book. And to my surprise, they are now time introduce new characters, and I will Sione work with a bit more than just herself and her master magician. Sione friend Delilah, while mostly and plain stain in the progress magician who likes personality. So Sione learns a lot about what a glass magician do, and it was the very idea I found genuinely interesting. Get magician use mirror not only as makeshift telephones or but also as portal, and this offers a whole new world for the photo develop. About the plot, Siani has to discover, and her action in the paper magician have decided and decided having best the evil and in the first book. There are others who want to use Siani for their plans. There are magicians already attack right at the beginning. Siani behave like a proper idiot. Seriously, either are considered for romance with her teacher. A romance still as steadily as his first name. There is still no visible reason for these two absolute what teacher other. They just are. Well, there are one of you in which he knows about why he is in total true love with Sioni, and one of the main reason how something like this that she good cook, and I mean fine and enjoy good meal and also the person, but I don't fall in love with his chef and my favorite restaurant. As much I love the idea of glass magic, of Siani and Delilah running up to secretly foretell themselves to from class, the main fault that the scenes for a very absurd. Try out playing simple for the fun of this, because the big secret that Siani discovered about 5 the people should have definitely discovered before this doesn't make some action skin and scenes any less exciting or fun, but the book also still refers the problem. The first problem had added bonus that the magic system in general is not new anymore, so glass magic is really things but strong point. Then that's for me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.